ladies and gentlemen, AARU, the Association of the Arab Universities, is a non-governmental organization that has an independent legal character, which was founded in 1964 upon a resolution issued by the Arab League. And that time there was a meeting in Benghazi, Libya. 5 years later, in 1969, the first secretariat of our association was met in Alexandria University in Egypt. And today we have the president of Alexandria with us here. They met that time, 1969, and we had only 23 universities in the Arab world. Today, we have more than 260 Arab member universities in our association. And this association seeks to achieve several goals, such as enhancing cooperation amongst Arab universities and coordinating their efforts, cooperating with counterpart associations and institutions to raise the level of higher education and to promote joint research projects, supporting and encouraging mutual student activities amongst Arab universities, and also promoting quality assurance and accreditation among Arab universities. To achieve those goals, ARU works through its affiliated councils and centers that are hosted by different member universities, such as the Arab Council for Training of Arab Students, the Arab Council for Higher Studies and Scientific Research, the Arab Council for Students' Activities, the Center for Depositing University Theses and Journals, the Fund of Supporting Palestinian Universities, the Council for Quality Assurance and Accreditation, and the last one, which was established 2 years ago, the Arab Scientific Research Fund, and also 21 societies of counterpart faculties of Arab universities. ARU has been working throughout the past years to enhance cooperation with all partners in the world who are concerned in higher education sector to exchange views, strategies, experience, and practices. The focus is to promote inter-countries collaboration in areas of mutual interest through networking and partnerships. I believe that this is a great opportunity to be employed to achieve several goals. As a result of a European Commission funded Tempest project entitled Leadership in Higher Education Management for MENA, the Middle East and North Africa area, coordinated by Cardiff Metropolitan University. And today here we have Professor Anthony Champion, the president of Cardiff Metropolitan University, and the official agreement to establish Arelen was initiated in 2012 by signing MOU between Cardiff Metropolitan University and our association. Arelen is a bridge between European and MENA universities. Our association has been working as an umbrella organization of the universities in the Arab world to represent their interests and to encourage and foster cooperation in higher education. Therefore, this network shall be established as a substructure of our association, and one of the objectives and direct deliverable and outcome of Tempest project, building capacity for university management that will work to promote and enhance of Arab universities in all areas of their operations based on close interactions with our partners in Europe. The network shall become a platform for all major issues that universities are confronted with. Therefore, the topics to be dealt with shall not be limited to certain areas of university operations. However, there are some topics that are of immediate relevance and shall be covered by the activities of this network. Those topics are mobility of staff and students, joint research, leadership and university management, internationalization, quality, community services. Due to all such challenges, our association began recently focusing on the importance of integration and coordination between Arab universities and universities around the world. Therefore, internationalization has moved high in our agenda at AARU, and most universities aiming at preparing students for a globalized world and helping faculty members stay up to date in their disciplines. The idea was translated through several activities and events, such as 2012, in October, we organized the first Arab-Malaysian Global Higher Education Summit, which was held at the Islamic Science University of Malaysia, USIM, and the second summit of the Arab-Malaysian Conference will be held at Mansoura University, hopefully by the end of this year. Also, the first Arab Conference on Higher Education was held at Barcelona University during last May 2013, with the help of our partner, the European University Association. And the second Arab Euro Conference on Higher Education will be hosted by Princess Sumaya University in Amman, inshallah, next June. Also, we are working with our brothers in Turkey, with Istanbul University, as well as Istanbul Medinat University, to have the first Turkish Arab Conference on Higher Education just in 2 months from now, on the 26th to the 28th of April. And here we are. Our partners from Turkey, they are here. Professor Hamid, he's here, and with his colleagues to attend this launching of this network. And we are delighted to start with the Arab-Turkish Conference, inshallah, in April. And also, we are going to organize the first Arab-German university at Chemnitz Technical University in Germany. And here we have the rector of Chemnitz Technical University. I don't know where he's sitting now. Yes, he's sitting here. We are delighted to have you here, Professor Van Zyl. You are more than welcome. And also we are working with the French universities as well as with the Greek and the American universities in order to have good collaboration with our partners all over the world. Besides this, we are working so hard with the European Commission concerning several projects. With Erasmus Mundus project, such as Al-Fahri, the Peace Program for Excellence Academic Cooperation Exchange, the Hermes, development of a higher education and research area between Europe and the Middle East, as well as many campus projects such as Equium, enhancing quality management in Jordanian universities, and BOCAM, building capacity for university management in the ENPI South region, and also the RICO now, knowledge of recognition procedures in South countries, and also the MIMI, modernization of institutional management of internationalization in Southern countries, and MEDA to Middle East and North Africa and others. And also we have mutual collaboration with our partner, the European University Association, as well as the Magna Carta Observatory. And here we have the president of the Magna Carta Observatory. Therefore, AARU contributes in the African higher education harmonization and through so many projects. In closing, let me thank you all again for your time, emphasizing that we at AARU welcome and support and encourage enhancing cooperation with regional and international bodies in favor of raising the level of education and enhancing sustainable development to achieve progress. We, of course, need to have collective efforts and plans. Distinguished guests, may I just thank you all, of all of our participants, for giving up their time and putting in the effort to be with us today. Wishing you all good friends who are coming from abroad to enjoy the beautiful sun of Jordan and to take a look at some of the Jordanian historical sites. God bless you and thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Abu Rabi. Now I'd like to welcome Mr. David Locke, Director of International Projects at the Leadership Foundation for Higher Education in the UK. Please.
Your Excellency, Excellencies, Vice Chancellors, Rectors, Presidents, Secretary General, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to be here to add the congratulations of the Leadership Foundation to the Association of Arab Universities, the British Council, Tempus, and Cardiff Metropolitan University on the formation of Arelen. The association has already established a distinguished record for its scientific meetings, and it was a personal and a professional delight when the decision was reached to extend this to leadership activities. This is a very special day for the association, and this year is a very special year for the Leadership Foundation. It was 10 years ago that it was established in response to concerns that the leadership of British universities was not as effective as it might be. 10 years on, we have 95% of the universities in the UK, that's 150, voluntarily in membership of the Leadership Foundation. Internationally, we are working with 32 different countries, sometimes at a national level, supporting the introduction of higher education strategies, and sometimes with international or with individual universities, giving confidence to senior leaders, having them work with us, and building partnerships with universities in the UK. We have been especially pleased to be involved in regional initiatives, including two organised by Cardiff Metropolitan University under the Tempus banner. And it is from the scoping activities involved in those that much of the agenda for our leadership work together has been formed. I was very pleased when last June our arrangements were formalised through your Secretary General and my Chief Executive, signing a memorandum of association, particularly appropriately at Cardiff Metropolitan University in June. The first outcome of that memorandum is going to follow immediately after this opening. It will be a 3-day workshop for senior leaders across your region on the theme of internationalization. From a survey which we have done, we find some very encouraging developments about the ways in which universities are responding to this challenge, but also a hunger to do more and to relate more effectively with universities in other countries for the benefits of staff and students. And we are looking forward to some very tangible outcomes from this workshop that will help to take that agenda forward in the spirit of the association. Other topics which will be followed up are those of women in leadership, both for women aspiring to take leadership positions and women already in leadership positions to enable them to be more effective. Linking with the other work of the association, we will be focusing on the leadership skills of young researchers. So much is happening in research in the Arab world that the addition of the leadership element should serve to accelerate that. We also know that across the region, particularly in the Gulf, there is a huge imperative to improve the capacity of students to serve in the workforce, education for employment, and also education for entrepreneurialism. And we plan to be working on that as well, together with extending the range of workshops which we have provided on strategic leadership for senior staff in Arab universities. With all that in mind, the network of leadership centres that has been established under the 2 Tempest projects will be invaluable for providing cost-effective access and involvement to people across the region in these leadership activities. And so, with this exciting agenda and important agenda in front of us, it is truly professionally and personally a pleasure to be here today and to have been a part of this exciting initiative. I should just add one thing. I mentioned that the Leadership Foundation was 10 years old this year. And one of the new developments which we are launching to celebrate our 10th year is a new service called MyLF. That's capital M, little y, LF in capitals. If you go to the website of the Leadership Foundation, which is on my card, which is in your packs, you will be able to register yourselves at no cost for MyLF, which will give you personally and will give your institutions access to the research publications of the Leadership Foundation. This was agreed at our senior management team last week and is a token from us to you to celebrate our wish to have you as part of the wider Leadership Foundation community. Secretary General, I thank you very much, and I wish Arlene and you every success.
Thank you, David. I would like to welcome Professor Mohammed Lutfi, Pro Vice Chancellor, Cardiff Metropolitan University. دكتور محمد لطفي نائب رئيس جامعة Cardiff Metropolitan University المملكة المتحدة.
Your Excellency, Professor Amin Mahmoud, a very good friend, Professor Sultan Abu Arabi, the Secretary General of ARU, ambassadors, presidents, rectors, honored guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the launch of the Arab European Leadership Network in Higher Education. I'm delighted to see everyone here today. A bit of history. This all actually started through a theme of convergence through higher education. This theme started here in Jordan in 2004 through the Global Integration of Graduate Programs Conference that was held here in Amman. And the theme of the conference was set by Andries Barblan, who was the Secretary General of the Magna Carta Observatory at the time, and it was convergence through higher education. This was the line of thought at the time. Universities are expected to be at the forefront of modernizing their societies by pushing the boundaries of science, by researching into the unknown. And if this is the case, and if in this sense, universities might as well be the platform for convergence through education to facilitate intercultural discussions, leading to a mutual understanding of the needs of societies and cultures between different areas of the world. I've been dwelling on this idea for some time and trying to assess what I can do in order to work towards this noble aim. The EU funding for third countries has the same aim at an institutional level, as well as at a national and as a regional level. Until the end of 2003, projects like Tempus and Erasmus Mundus promoted and encouraged mutual cooperation between the North and the South. This is now moving towards to be Erasmus+. The aim of Erasmus Mundus is to enhance quality in higher education through students and staff mobilities, scholarships, and academic cooperation between Europe and the rest of the world, whilst Tempus support the modernization of higher education by creating an area of cooperation in countries surrounding the EU. We have here Professor Abul Haiga. If you need any extra information, he'll be able to help you. The objectives of these two programs are mutual understanding, cooperation, and higher education modernization. Cardiff Met's first Tempus project, Leadership in Higher Education Management, led to the creation of Arelen. LHEM, or Leadership in Higher Education Management, was designed to provide dedicated service to support and advise on leadership, governance, and management of partner universities in the four MENA countries, Egypt, Morocco, Lebanon, and Tunisia. On three levels: existing leaders, potential leaders, and aspiring leaders, to enable top management issues to be discussed and exchanges to take place. The second Tempus project, Building Capacity in University Management, involves 10 universities in Libya, Morocco, Egypt, and Lebanon. The aim is to satisfy the regional priorities of university management and students' services. Wider objectives of this project is to demonstrate that good management practices can build sustainable higher education cooperation between nations. So, building capacity in university management also promotes Arelen to ensure the objectives are continually met. Arelen was, as Professor Sultan said, was founded by Cardiff Metropolitan University, the Leadership Foundation, and the Association of Arab Universities. The birthplace of Arelen began in 2012 at Cardiff Metropolitan University, which is one of the positive outcomes of Cardiff Met's internationalization strategy and capacity building initiatives across the world. Arelen was officially launched then, or declared a sub-organization of the Association of Arab Universities at the Association of Arab Universities annual gathering in Erbil in 2013. The network is to serve that will help universities and academics improve their way of responding to demand placed on them by the society, as well as the current and future generations of students. Arelen soon became a great success, and the hosting news was covered by the World University News, Arabiya News, as the platform for convergence through education. Arelen Network now is a substructure of the Association of Arab Universities. It's an independent body with its own governance and advisory board, a steering committee. It thrills me to be here today for this official launch of Arelen. The main objective of this network is to be a platform for discussions between the leaders of higher education in the EU, MENA region, and to enhance cooperation and understanding between universities in the MENA region and Europe. It aspires to do this in many ways, providing a network for discussion, running workshops aimed at capacity building, increasing cooperation in teaching, research, and the third mission of any higher education institution, which is engaging with the community, and lately, internationalization. I would like to thank the Association of Arab Universities, everyone that contributed to the launch today, the British Council, the Leadership Foundation. I would like to thank, a special thank to the Association of Arab Universities and for Professor Sultan and his deputies for taking the responsibility and progressing this network in the future. As one of the initiators, I'm glad and feel proud to see where Arelen is today. Thank you all. Thanks for the governance and advisory board to accept to be on the governance and advisory board, for the steering committee. I'm sure that under the umbrella of this association, Arelen will flourish. I would like to thank you all for attending, and I would thank, and many of you have traveled long distances to be here. Really appreciate your efforts, the efforts that you have made. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Lutfi. I would like to welcome His Excellency Professor Amin Mahmoud, Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research in Jordan. Please.
صباح الخير. Assalamu alaikum. I'm quite sure you are quite familiar with this expression, Professor Chapman. My dear fellow colleagues, it's really pleasure, my pleasure. I'm quite thrilled to be here with you. It's the feeling for an academician to be back home. I was instructed by His Excellency, Dr. Sultan, to be here at 9:45. I was exactly here. He offered to take me to his office to sit with Professor Marwan Kamal and other fellows and have a cup of coffee. So I insisted, with the feeling of being back home, to stay with my fellow colleagues and socialize and talk and to listen. So I'm quite happy to be with you and share the pleasure of this event to discuss all kinds of related issues, or all of issues related to higher education and the role of universities' leadership. I'm quite impressed with what you said, my fellow, about women leadership. We have to put a lot of emphasis on this. We need it in this part of the world. Enough talking about it. It's time to put it, or to benefit from the competence of our women. There is so much to learn from each other, particularly from the European experience. We had an experiment. We established a German university here. And our students spend one whole year working in Germany, to be exposed to a different way of life, way of thinking. And I assure you, all of the graduates of this success story, success of this university, they have no problem in employment. They, the graduates, and most of them don't look for jobs. They are able to create jobs. And we would like also here in Jordan, you know, we have about 330,000 students. We have 29 university and university colleges. Most of them, unfortunately, 90% of them, they follow the academic track, while less than 10% technical and vocational. While we find in Belgium, for example, 47% follow the academic, enrolled in the academic stream. This is because we expect in 10 years to have about 450 students. All of them want to continue academic stream. We are thinking seriously of trying to increase the number of enrollment in vocational and technical studies. So we are entertaining the idea. Actually, we started to start in a Chinese Jordanian university in technical studies. We are halfway through negotiations, and hopefully within a year or a year and a half, we'll be able, next time you come here, to visit it, hopefully. And we are quite open to receive any offers from distinguished leaders of European universities to receive, I won't say grants, but any kind of help to help our graduates to pursue their higher education in technical and vocational study. I'm really, again, happy to be with you, looking forward to learn more and more from your experience. Thank you very much, and hope a very pleasant stay here in Jordan. Thank you.
Much. I would like to welcome you to our coffee break now and our networking for about an hour, and then we'll come back here for the official launch by Professor Sultan and a short presentation on Arelen future. Thank you. Please, it's served at the back of this hall. Thank you.
Before we start opening, the official opening of Arelen, really without the help and the support and the effort of so many organizations, this will not be coming through today. The first of all, it is our collaboration with Cardiff Metropolitan University and Professor Anthony Chapman, the Vice Chancellor, and the Pro-Vice, Professor Muhammad Lutfi. They have been doing a great job with us during the last few years. And the second thing, the Leadership Foundation in UK, they are really behind the initiative and the support. And really we thank so much our colleague, David Locke, who is sitting in the left of this table. And the help and the effort of the British Council, what we have been receiving in our association during the last 3 years, since myself and my colleagues on the right and on the left, we came to this office here. They have been so generous. And Sally Ward is the director of the British Council in the MENA region here, which is based now in Dubai. She has been doing a great job. Mark Gissel, who used to be the director of the British Council in Amman, now he's in Abu Dhabi, and his successor, Mr. Rab, I don't know if he came today. They have been a great support to our initiative and to all our efforts here. We thank you, Sally Ward, for your coming and for your support and for your continuous effort. And please now let us have the official opening or the official launching of Arelen. I think everybody now knows about Arelen, which is going to be a center in our association to train our leaders in higher education. We will start with rectors, presidents, and then vice presidents. Hopefully in the near future we'll start working with deans as well as chairpersons. Therefore, please allow me now to declare the official opening of Arelen here in our association. And without your help, this will not work. Therefore, we thank all the colleagues from Europe, from our region, from the Arab countries. And the website of Arelen is going to be on our website, as well as with the Leadership Foundation, as well as with Cardiff Metropolitan, and I hope will be with the British Council website too. And all of you are invited to be the first people to sign for Arelen with us. And then we are going to continue the collaboration and cooperation in order to get benefit, all of us, from Arelen, the place where we are going to train our higher education leadership in the Arab countries. And without the help of those agencies or organization will not work. Within 10 days, Abu Bakr, inshallah, the website will be completed and will be a registration form, and you can fill it in, and then you will be a member of Arelen. And today we will start the first workshop. We are going to have 30 rectors and vice rectors. This is going to be the first batch, the first workshop, starting today, tomorrow, Tuesday, and then we'll have the last day on Wednesday. And the last day on Wednesday, then we'll have the closing of this workshop, and then we will distribute certificates to all participants, the 30 people. Anything, Abu Bakr, you want to add before I close, before you have your presentation? And then we'll have a presentation by Mr. Abu Bakr, who is from Cardiff Metropolitan University. But just before I end, I really should thank my deputies, Professor Muhammad Rafat Mahmoud, who is sitting on my right-hand side, and Professor Mustafa Idris al-Bashir, who is sitting on the left-hand side. We are working together as one team, and I should thank all my colleagues who are working with our association here. We have very limited number of staff here, but everybody is working daily and night. And this is very impressive. We have been doing a great job during the last 3 years, but without the support of our colleagues, the presidents, directors from the Arab universities, we will not accomplish such things. We thank you so much, and we are looking forward to cooperate with you in the near future regarding Arelen or any other agenda in the future. Thank you so much, and we allow now Mr. Abu Bakr to have the presentation about Arelen. And after this, we'll have the lunch at 1 o'clock. Then we'll have a closing meeting for the governance committee at 2:30. It is closed, yes, it is a closed meeting because this is by invitation. The governance committee, I think we have sent letters to the members of the governance committee, and then the worship will start at 2:30, and then we'll have another meeting for the steering committee at 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, Dr. Muhammad Rafat will be the chair of the steering committee. At 2:30, I will be chairing this session. Thank you. You can start.
Thank you, Professor Sultan. As we all witnessed this morning, there were presentations from Professor Sultan, Professor Lutfi, Mr. David Locke about Arelen, what happened in Arelen, how was it developed before. So I thought in my presentation to show you more in details about the network, how was it established, its timeline, and the future expectations for it. So please allow me to start. Just a brief history about it. As was mentioned earlier on, it was successful, an outcome of a successful sorry, some technical issues. Yes, okay. It was an outcome of a successful Tempus leadership in higher education management, which established or ignited the idea of the presidents from the MENA region to have a network to enable them to exchange views and discuss the complicated issues within their organizations, the challenges that faces the higher education mechanism in the MENA region. In 2013, at the annual Association of Arab Universities in Erbil, talks began with a vast majority of presidents about the idea and the concept of Arelen. Was it worth it? What's their views, their feedback? And it all came positive. In line with this, we did a needs analysis on 10 universities in the MENA region, from Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, and Lebanon, and they all came up with the feedback that they need such a network to connect Europe with the Arab needs or the Arab higher education needs. So after a long discussion and a lot of brainstorming, Arelen was established. It's the Arab European Leadership Network in higher education. It will be the vehicle or the driving force for the presidents and the vice presidents or the senior management in the MENA region higher education systems between MENA and Europe. It will communicate and discuss the problems or the issues for running such a global or international universities, because internationalization is one of the main aspects of any higher education institutions now, as we gathered from all the feedbacks that we received. It will also build a bridge between Europe and the MENA region and conduct through which dialogue can take place. So on annual basis, the needs will be changed, obviously. Why Arelen? It will be a platform for intra-regional cooperation and inter-regional cooperation, bi-directional sharing of knowledge, south-north, north-south, contribution to high-quality higher education systems, or trying to enhance the existing ones. It will foster new partnerships between universities in both regions, with the capacity of expanding beyond the two regions. Capacity building activities, especially the university autonomy, which is quite a big thing in the MENA region. Staff mobility, brain circulation, again, south-north, north-south, using the existing scholarship between universities, the funds, the projects that are already taking place between both regions. The main sponsors, the Association of Arab Universities, Cardiff Metropolitan University, the Tempus program, which is the first one was leadership in higher education, and now building capacity in higher education management, and the British Council. The courses are led by the Leadership Foundation in the UK. Please, if you have any questions at any time, please stop me. Okay, now we go through the timeline. The first meeting was held in Corfu, in Greece. It was between 10 MENA and European partners. This was under the first Tempus umbrella. And they discussed all the agendas, all the vision and mission of Arelen, like they started or ignited the idea itself. Then in 2012, a signed memorandum of understanding between Cardiff Metropolitan University and the Association of Arab Universities. It was held in Cardiff in the United Kingdom. Professor Mohammed Lutfi, Professor Anthony Chapman, Professor Sultan Abu Arabi, and Mr. David Locke in the picture. This was the official step towards establishing Arelen. Then in 2013, the first training for leaders from across the MENA region under the new Tempus, Building Capacity for University Management, took place in Cardiff in the United Kingdom again. It was partners from Morocco, Egypt, Lebanon, Libya, the Ministry of Higher Education in Egypt, the British Council, and it had we had actually a lot of positive feedback. It was phase 1 of 3 phases to through the Tempest Lifetime project, which is in year 2 now. Now in 2013, towards the end of the year, the official signing ceremony for Arelen between the Association of Arab Universities and Cardiff Metropolitan University and the Leadership Foundation. It was signed in Cardiff, and in picture Professor Sultan, Professor Chapman, and Mr. Mark Pegg, the Chief Executive Officer of the Leadership Foundation. Unfortunately, he cannot be with us today, but he, I hope in the next meetings he will. Right, now Arelen, the structure of Arelen. Governance and Advisory Board, we call it the GAB. It will be formed from 10 MENA universities, 10 presidents, and 10 European universities, plus the Magna Carta Observatory, the World Bank, the British Council. So they will establish the vision and the mission and the strategic direction of the network on the short and the long run. Then the implementation will be carried throughout the steering committee, which is Cardiff Metropolitan University, the Tempest Project, the British Council, and the Association of Arab Universities. So they will implement the strategic agenda from the Governance Advisory Board in the MENA region and in Europe as well. Arlen's future. Obviously, the future is unknown, but we're trying to predict it somehow. So part of the activities will be annual conferences, either held in the MENA region or in Europe. The countries will change every year. A series of training workshops on the national needs or the regional needs, brain drain, knowledge transfer, university autonomy will be discussed, and between 2 to 3 days workshops. The duration or the length will be decided by the members. And publications, so far we're thinking of publications on like every few weeks or every 2 months really. However, this will be developed throughout the members of the network. The future enlargement or the future forecast for the enlargement is more stakeholders to be added to the network. At the moment we have 35 universities as full members of the network. So as Professor Sultan mentioned before, all delegates today are welcome to join the network. It will try to establish a regional and international bridge building between the MENA and Europe, or the regional entities. Establish linkage with other networks and organizations within the MENA region and Europe, like the UNESCO, for example, to enhance the existing and build more areas of collaboration, as mentioned before. Well, it's a short presentation, and I would like to thank you for your attention. And this is like a group photo from our last meeting in Cardiff last year. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.
I think before questions, we should thank Mr. Abu Bakr for the nice presentation. The name of the GAB committee, the governance and the board committee, it is in this page which you have in your hand. As Mr. Abu Bakr mentioned, we have 10 from the MENA region and 10 from European, plus the World Bank and the European Commission, as well as the Magna Carta. We have from the Arab world, we have Osama Ibrahim, the president of Alexandria University, Ismail Abdel Ghaffar, or Abdel Ghaffar, yes, the president of the Arab Academy for Science and Technology, and also Professor Muhammad Mohammedain, president of Suez Canal University in Egypt, Professor Al-Tahir Al-Hajji, president of Masrata University in Libya, Professor Tariq Ubaid, president of SIST from Morocco. From Lebanon, we have Professor Hatem Alama, president of MUBS. From Iraq, we have Professor Ahmed Dizay. From Jordan, we have Professor Rada Al-Khawalda, president of Mu'ta University. And also from United Arab Emirates, we have Professor Mondar Al-Momani, who president of Al-Hussein University. Actually, most of those universities, they are part of the Tempest project. Therefore, they have been selected from their positions in the Tempest project. We also have from our partners in Europe, Professor Anthony Chapman, the Vice Chancellor of Cardiff Metropolitan University in UK, Luigi Ferrati, Rector of Sapienza University in Italy, Professor Ivanio Denologhi, Rector of Bologna University in Italy. We have Professor Didac Ramirez, President of Barcelona University, and also we have President of Salamanca University in Spain, and also we have Professor Arnold van Zel, President of Chemnitz Technical University in Germany, and also we have Professor Antoni Utricio, Rector of University of Bari, and also Professor Hamid Okar, President of Istanbul Medinet University in Turkey, and also we have Professor Alvidas Pampotes, Rector of Mykolas Romaris University in Lithuania, and also we have Professor Ahmed Al-Johari, who is working as a consultant for Arelen, who used to be president of Suez Canal University, Fayoum in the west and Suez Canal in the east, right? Then we changed from east to the west. And also we have Mrs. Sally Ward. She's the regional manager of higher education, Middle East and North Africa and the British Council. And also we have Professor Muhammad Lutfi. And we have also Professor Norda, who is the president of the Magna Carta Observatory. And from the Tempest Bukham General Manager project in UK, we have Professor Alfredo Muscardanilli. And also we have David Locke, who is the Leadership Foundation. And we have Nina Arnold from the World Bank. And the last and not the least, Professor Lishan Yusasu from UNICA, which is the organization for the capital universities in Europe. Is that right? For this committee, we will meet at 2:30 after the lunch. And for the steering committee, I think Dr. Lutfi, Dr. 4 o'clock. في سؤال هنا تفضل بالله يا ريت كل واحد يعرف حاله بالله.
Good morning, everybody. It's now almost afternoon. So, my name is Rashid Al-Krayif from King Saud University in Riyadh. I'm very happy to be with you today. I have, you have very good idea and very good initiative, and I congratulate you for it and thank you at the same time because this is important. We need it in the region. However, I have some, concern that about the sustainable funding or resources. You have ambition to organize annual conferences, workshop, training, and all that. And we need all these activities. But would you assure us that you have kind of sustainable resources or funding that will ensure, continuing Arelen, the beautiful Arelen? Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Dr. Ahmed Jamal, who is the Secretary General of the Ministry of Higher Education in Lebanon. أنا عرفت عن حالك يا دكتور أحمد.
Thanks, Doctor. Well, I would like to congratulate you for this effort because this is the first time that I see a campus project before finishing has established really a network, a very interesting network, which is, I believe, as our colleague from Riyadh said, we need it. At least I know that we have a small experience with the World Bank concerning governance. Nina know very well what we are doing. I think that I'm happy that, and I hope that this network stay under the umbrella of the the Arab Association of Universities, because I believe, now we have 260. I know universities you have, and maybe there will be more. What I would like to ask, maybe it would be interesting that the Arab Association takes the initiative to invite all the members of the association to be part of this network. And I believe maybe because I want to ask the same question as our colleague from Saudi Arabia, but maybe since the Association of the Arab University make an annual meeting for all the colleagues from the different, especially for the leaders of the universities, it's maybe you can organize at the same time maybe some workshops and training for the leaders. And believe me, it's very important, because if you do it outside this aspect, we have the experience in Lebanon. We invite sometimes the president of the university or the leaders, they send some representatives. If it is in the global meeting of the president of the university and the leader of the university, they will be present, and it will be more fruitful for us, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Another question? Professor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you very much, Mr. Abubakr, for your presentation. This is Magid Negma, Vice President, Helwan University. It's actually comments rather than question regarding the sponsorship to maintain the sustainability of the program, as my colleague from Saudi Arabia mentioned, and in a casual talk with His Excellency Professor Hussein Isa, the President of Al-Shams University, regarding that the sponsors that have been mentioned in your presentation are organizers rather than sponsors. I mean that British Council is an organizer. AU, it's actually organizer. A Cardiff Metropolitan organizer. I think that if we can start from now to approach to some actually rich institutes, I don't mean academic institutes, I mean entities, like in Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait, in Egypt, in Jordan, everywhere we have a foundation that actually can sponsor this sort of activities. It needs a sort of marketing activities rather than dependent mainly on the 4 main organizers rather than sponsors. My second comment is important also, that to maintain the sustainability of the activities, I think that the universities who already participated in this big event today can be a leading people to doing these actions. Thank you very much. And just comments rather than questions, and possibly Mr. Abubakr have agree or disagree with me, but just a comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Najm. A fourth question before we start replying or answering the questions. If there's no more question, we thank you so much for your questions and for your concern. Professor Masoud from Riyadh and Professor Najm, Professor Jamal, I think the three of you, you are concerned about the sustainability of Arelen in the future. And this is really very important aspect. Without the money, without the fundraising for such project like this, it will not continue. For the time being, the Tempest project has some money now, which is seeding money to start working on this. And this is coming through the Cardiff Metropolitan University. We have the seeding money. And also the British Council is supporting this week workshop. Actually, they are paying for all the expenses for 15 participants, 15 out of 30. They are paying for their expenses, their traveling expenses, as well as their accommodation here in Amman. And we thank them, we thank the British Council for this support. I think, as most of you know, our funds for our association, we don't get any money from any government in the Arab countries. Our budget is coming from within our universities. We have yearly fees, and all our members, the 260 universities, they are paying their duties every year. And that's how we act, and that's how we work here. Without the duties and the fees from all the members, we will not be able to do any job. We have been doing in the last few years a lot of workshops and conferences and seminars here in Amman or outside. We have conducted several workshops in quality assurance, and we have invited hundreds of experts and colleagues from all over the Arab universities to come here and to attend the workshop. Sometimes we have very small amount of fees. Fees for those workshops. Last week, we have conducted a workshop in quality assurance in Sudan. And last month, we have conducted a quality assurance workshop in Tripoli in Libya. And also we have conducted several workshops on scientific research here. Especially we are looking for funds to support our scientific research fund, which we launched 2 years ago in Morocco when we had our General Assembly in Morocco. Therefore, yes, the funds, it is a big concern. What we are hoping in the near future, Professor Masoud and the other colleagues, other friends who raised the concern that we will have some fees for the participants who are going to attend Arelen workshop in the future in order to continue and to sustain the development of Arelen. Therefore, من دهنه قليله يا أستاذ مسعود. من دهنه قليله. Without your help, your effort, your support, we will not do anything. And really, we appreciate this, and we are looking forward for any support or any contribution coming from here or from there. I think, might be David, if you want to add about this, I will appreciate your reply.
Right. I just wanted to add, Professor Sultan, that I mentioned in my brief remarks that the Leadership Foundation is celebrating its 10th anniversary in 4 weeks' time. When the Leadership Foundation started, it was in precisely the same situation that Arelen is in today. The government had pledged an amount of money for it to start, but its continuation was very much in its own hands. The Leadership Foundation now has a situation where less than 20% of its funds come from the government, and the remaining funds come either from participants who are paying fees to take part in programs, or sponsors of programs, and sometimes those are ministries, sometimes they are organisations like the British Council or the World Bank are paying for the services. I think the question was an excellent one, and the challenge is one for us to demonstrate that the work that takes place under Arelen is of real value to the universities that take part. Because if it is judged to be of real value to those universities or to those sponsors, the funding will follow. And the Leadership Foundation, and I cannot claim credit for this because I've certainly not been with it for the whole period, but that is the story of the Leadership Foundation. And I would not be supporting Arelen as closely if I did not think that that was the potential here.